What's going on, everyone? It's Peter Byram here, and today we are with two more amazing members of the Next Level Photography training program. Today we have Kyle and Stephanie Jackson with us, and maybe Kai as well, their son. So guys, so awesome to have you guys on this call. Really excited to dig into your story. It's an amazing story. And why don't we just kick this off with you guys kind of introducing yourselves and tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Sure. I'm Stephanie, this is Kyle. We live in Southern California and we run Shore and Wave. It's a photo and video company. We have been doing this now
couple of
years, but we rebranded back in July. I started doing this full time back in June, and it's just been a ride, so we're excited to talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, like let's start with like in your business, what was the when you guys first came across me, what was the real like challenge you guys were looking to solve?
I'd say just lead generation in general. So we wanted to find something where we're not being so reliant on referrals from specific vendors, because if they ended up, stop working or whatever reason, then that would quickly diminish. You know what I mean? Like how many couples we would be in contact with, and we didn't want to rely on that. The potential to possibly scale the business. So like maybe if we got to a point where we're busy enough where we hire on like an actual editor for the photos and films, so that way we can dedicate more time to finding more couples and just shooting the weddings versus building up a fat backlog of edits. So, but yeah, we want to be able to save for a house and whatnot, and so if we kept finding more couples, then we would have the ability to charge more, so we didn't have to shoot as much, or keep shooting the same amount, save more money to get a house and whatnot. So
it's a little expensive down here in Orange County.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We have expensive tastes too. We know what we like, so we try not to settle on stuff like that.
Totally. That's awesome. So Stephanie, you've been doing photo for a while, but you had a full-time job up until June, right?
Yep.
So what were you doing?
I was doing admin stuff. I had been doing it since I graduated college 5 years ago. Office administration, executive assistants, I want to say it's a little bit soul-sucking for me, just to be doing like data entry day in and day out, and have to clock into a 9 to 5 position and possibly commute for 30 minutes to an hour and a half each day, and it was exhausting. And then I have a toddler at home on top of it, and it was just, I think I had just come to a crossroads with COVID going on. I was looking for a new job. I was working at a CPA firm at the time, and we were trying to move back to Orange County. We were living in Marietta, which is a little city far away. And I had been looking for like 3 months without any kind of lead. I'd been working with recruiters to find work, and then I think Kyle just kind of said, well, why didn't you do photo full-time with me? Because he had been doing video full-time for a year and a half, and something just clicked, and I said, okay, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what was like the ultimate thing though, like for you, like where you were just like, because I know this is a thing for a lot of people, like to make the leap and just go all in, like what really made you say like, I'm just going to go all in on this business?
So for me, I think it was realizing how much of my son's life I was kind of missing out on. Time. Yeah. Just missing his first steps and missing just the day-to-day little silly interactions that we have with him. And I saw Kyle having those with him, and here I was working this job where you literally cannot work remote. Being an executive assistant, you have to be with your executive. You can't work remotely. You can never work from home. Taking time off is not really a thing. You know, you get maybe 2 weeks a year to go on vacation if you wanted. You're really just a slave to that 9 to 5. And so I think the biggest thing has been time and a schedule, just the flexibility to say no if I don't want to gig, if I don't want to work on a specific date, or if I want to go travel, I can go and find a gig somewhere around the world and make a vacation out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
So,
totally.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's been a big thing.
Yeah, awesome. So, okay, but whenever you go, like, you want to go full time, right? Like, there's uncertainties, and, you know, you've been doing this, but now you're like, okay, I'm going to go all in on this thing. And, you know, like, I know you guys had some different goals, but like I guess what Kyle was saying was like the big challenge for you guys was just knowing that you could consistently get leads coming in and you could start booking more consistently.
Yes. And then there was a fear at the very beginning. So I started doing this in June, and about 2 weeks later, we did our whole website rebranding. There was a fear, a huge fear actually, because of COVID, and starting a new journey in this super unknown time where we weren't sure if people were going to still be getting married, or if venues were going to be even allowing people to get married, or just so many question marks. So that was a concern, but I mean, it's not right now. Did you want to add to that? Like, what were some of our hesitations on
going full time?
Yeah.
I don't know, having a kid, probably insurance is always, that's probably a priority.
Daycare,
if and when we decided to start daycare and whatnot. But I don't think there were many like risks or huge risks other than those of like just a whole lot of unknown, like going from, at least for Stephanie, going from a position where she was always pretty much full time, a stable paycheck, like she knew how much she was getting, versus a very programmatic, unknown kind of income. So I think it was more of a more a mental and emotional adjustment versus like is there like knowing how much risk there is, because we were confident that as a photo and video in Southern California, I don't think we're gonna have issues finding work, even if we had to like lower our prices for a few gigs and stuff like that. But I've been doing the video specifically for a while, so if I can do video, I know that she could do photo, and as a husband and wife doing both, I know that we could be successful. It's just how quickly or how much. So
yeah. Real quick, guys, do you mind sliding a little bit to your right? I just want to, Kyle, you're right a little bit, because I want to make sure that we don't cut you guys off. Great. I think that should be good. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So, because this is a big thing for a lot of people probably listening right now. It's like people want to, there's a lot of people that that have a photography business part-time, and they want to go full-time. But they're just like, they really struggle and to make that transition. And so like, I think it's going to be inspiring to a lot of people to hear how you did that, and then like what you really did to make it work, because you guys like put up some big numbers in October, which is awesome, which we'll get into in a second. But before we do that, like, how did you guys come across me?
Facebook. Yeah, it was on me, and it was through Facebook ads.
So you saw an ad, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw your ads maybe like 3 times before like actually deciding to read the description a little bit more about like, all right, who's this other random photographer that brought in like, 200,000 on her first year with Peter or whatever, and then I think it was like you had 2 testimonials on 2 different ads, and so I think it was just seeing results with more than just one person, because I don't want to invest and hire like the quote unquote friend that's just starting out and doing this, and he doesn't have a track record. So I think seeing your track record, I was like, hey, babe, we should do this.
Yeah.
Here's this dude, Peter. We should follow him.
Yeah,
So.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, like we had a call and like we chatted about like what you guys were looking to do and everything. What ultimately made you go like, oh, let's do this. Let's go for it.
I think there are a few things that you said in your intro that kind of spoke to us about like, fighting for scraps in in random Facebook groups. You'll see, in the photography groups, someone will post, "Hey, I need photo and video for this date and this place," and then you see like 50 photographers jump on that thread, 100 photographers jump on that thread saying, "Hey, I'd love to be considered. Here's my portfolio. Hey, I'd love to be considered."
Or the price, like they would post this really, really low price.
$800
like,
or something.
It's like 4 times that, so I'm not even going to post anything. Or
I know.
You see people just fighting over something like, a $500 photo and video budget.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a wake-up call in a sense, like, okay, he's right, we do need to do something about lead generation, and especially for the photo side, because I'm starting out full-time now, and I don't have the connections that you do, I don't have the pull that you do with wedding planners, with past brides who are referring their engaged friends, and so that was the big thing. Just realizing, okay, the photography side of our business could use some help. And I don't want to be fighting other photographers for these really low budget gigs. And, I knew my worth. I knew my worth as a photographer and our worth as a photo and video team. And I think that kind of spoke to us. So
yeah, I think the other thing was knowing that ads are constantly working for you, and you can adjust however you want, whether how little you want to spend or how much you want to spend, and it's really just like a trial and error, but someone, the ads, is working every moment of every day and optimizing. And so like for me, I'm like, well, that would relieve a lot of time, so I'm totally down to spend money on ads, knowing that at least something is constantly looking for work or looking for leads, for us to potentially shoot. Yeah. So the idea of ads isn't new to me, but how to effectively do it with wedding photography and videography, that was probably the biggest thing. Because coming from more of the video side, I usually get a lot of my work from referrals, because video is usually the second, or right after photo is booked. Then they find a videographer, or it's like a gift way down, 2 months before the wedding, and parents are like, "Here's a few grand, get yourself a videographer since you don't have one." So. Whereas photo, it's definitely a priority. So if we could get in front of those brides faster, then the potential to book both photo and video together, let alone just photo, would easily be worth the investment. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember talking about this, like you were saying, the majority of the video stuff comes from referrals, but now Stephanie's going full time. We want to make sure that not only is she like have a full calendar to maximize, like revenue and profits in our family business together. But also that we can do this together, right? Because that's fun.
Exactly.
It's like more fun to do it that way. Spend more time together. And so, the referral thing is great, but it's not always something that you can you don't have like a lever you can pull in your business is really the problem. It's like referrals are great when they're there. We love them and we want to do things that we can to get them. But it's kind of like having a workhorse in the background that you, like you said, that there's this machine that's going out and pulling people to you.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right. So you guys joined, you signed up, you joined Next Level, and then what happened? What happened after that?
A lot of work, a lot of studying.
Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of studying, rewatching and implementing like the steps in your tutorials of like how to set things up, or like understanding the reason of why things are set up in a certain way.
Sorry.
I think it's just like Christmas decorations. But let's see, it was trying to think of where we left off.
Yeah. So we were talking about like when you guys joined, what you guys were doing.
Yeah. So Stephanie is not the tech one of the group, so I did the landing page, the implementing Facebook, or like how to create a landing page and whatnot, things to look out for. And so then I would vomit everything that I learned to Stephanie in a way that she would understand it. But yeah, we got started pretty quickly, and we just started making like minor adjustments on the ads. And this was, I want to say
we did all the work in September so that we could start counting October 1st.
Yeah.
That was our goal, was to get all this implemented by the end of September so that we could start tracking results October 1st.
Yeah, because I think it was like mid-September when I think we were like done with everything, but then I was like, well, I think it would be better to start fresh on October so that we can clearly see what our month-to-month looks like.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, got it. So, for people listening at home right now, it's like you guys, the big challenge that you guys were trying to solve was you wanted more inquiries so you could get more clients for both of you guys, for photo and video, right? And so one of the things that we do in Next Level is like we use social media ads to generate leads, right? Facebook and Instagram. But there's a good amount of work to do to get that stuff set up, right? Had you guys ever run any Facebook ads before?
Yes and no. It's like the very basic ones of like if you're on Instagram and it says, oh, you should promote this, and you just say promote, and then it just tell Instagram like how much money you want to spend, for the day, and then you just let it run. You don't understand how much how much more granular you can get with the ads as far as like how to target effectively. So yes and no, because we did that, but it was not effective at all. And it was just like throwing money away, but not understanding how to use it effectively.
Hoping something sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys know about like funnel building before?
No.
Yeah. That's a very common, that's very often a missing piece. Did he just say no?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Kai, for agreeing. Yeah. He really is a very cute kid. I'm glad you're here for this, buddy. I really am. No, but it's like it's not enough to just run ads. It's like having the whole funnel and sales process interwoven into that, which I feel like is just not really understood widely. it's a little bit more complex. And so you guys built all that stuff out, and then you launched it in October. And then let's get into your results in October. Like, how much revenue, like total sales, did you guys do this month?
27,000.
That's killer. That's
Yeah.
seriously awesome.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said 27.5.
Wow. It's amazing. And so you guys, like, let's talk about some of the other things. Like, so let's look at like the breakdown you guys were telling me before we got started. Like, so you booked 5 weddings, right? And then how many of those were photo and video?
4.
Nice. And then the other one is where, like, it's a destination wedding, right? In Iceland, just video.
Yeah, just video to Iceland.
That's sweet, man. Yeah, I remember when you booked that client. Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, how did you guys get these clients?
So let's see. Of the 5, 2 of them were referrals from planners, I think.
Yeah.
2 of them were from Facebook ads, and the other one was through Facebook, but organically, which is another thing that we talked about next level.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, 27K, husband and wife team. That's like, you guys are well on your way to hitting that goal of getting to that like 200K goal. Like, now it's just a matter of like consistently repeating again and again and building off of that momentum that you guys have built so far.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think your biggest takeaway has been so far over the last like 30 days?
For me, so I did kind of a little bit of math, and I broke the numbers down, and I was like, okay, so in order to have made $27,000 at my job, working 40 hours a week,
not including commute time.
I was like, I would have had to have worked for like 6 months to make this. Going into the office, spending all day, buried in Excel sheets, dealing with, upset customers, dealing with upset bosses, work drama, all of this to say, like, in 1 month, I made the amount of money with a fraction of the headache of working full time, and it was just kind of eye-opening, like, whoa, why didn't I do this sooner? Because I was like, this is incredible. Like, we've never netted this much money in 1 month, and here we are, like 1 month into next level, and I'm like, if we could keep this going, all of our financial goals that we have, we'll be able to hit those within a year, within 2 years, and it's, I don't know, it's just cool. I don't know, that's all I can say.
Yeah. I think my biggest takeaway is, other than the fact of the initial, like, I don't know, but when you invest in something to make more money, at first it feels like a little hesitant, like something got caught in your throat, because you're like, well, I'm over here trying to make more money, but I have to spend more money to make more money.
Yeah.
So it's always a worry. But I think my biggest takeaway was just the patience aspect of it, and not like, you want to look at the numbers every day on how well things are performing, and as well as like the time that you're putting in to make things better and to make things perform better. You're all done?
We're not.
We're not done yet, buddy. Hold on.
We're almost there.
But it's just the patience aspect of it, of not rushing the ads to like, or expect the ads to, make you $1 million and you only spend $100. It doesn't work like that.
I wish.
It's the same thing as, like, I don't know, you still have to put in a lot of work. So it's not that ads just are the easiest thing to do. But if you keep at it and you stay consistent with it and you keep feeding it, then it'll keep performing. So
Yeah, I think that's great. That's a great insight, because I think that sometimes it's easy to think that, like, things that there's a secret, that there's like a magic thing that, like, we all want this, like we all want like the secret thing that just makes it so easy, but it just doesn't really work like that in real life, and but like 27K in a month is huge, and so if you do the work and you stay consistent, like, you can have tremendous success, but it's not easy. And that's what people don't realize. And that's why I'm so grateful for you sharing that, because it's the truth, like, if it were easy, everyone would have it, right? Everyone would quit their job, go all in on their business, and like grind it out and risk money on the line, in ad spend and in, like a program and coaching and all this kind of stuff. Like, everybody would do it, right? But that's what makes it worth it, I think, in the end, is the fact that it's not, it doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We've had work, between you and the group, like, any questions we've had have been answered and walked through and explained. And so there hasn't really been a moment, even though it's difficult, there hasn't been a moment where we've been stuck and stayed stuck,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not tech savvy, there have been moments where I've, helped Kyle with stuff, and it's, you can do it. And if you can't figure something out, you just ask questions. And we've had a lot of support, so that helps a lot for someone that's not tech savvy like me.
Yeah. So you find that that's valuable, right? Having the community. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
If you post a question, you'll get it answered within minutes usually, and so
and it's always encouraging to see like how other people are doing well, or even like
sharing our success.
Seeing the success. So like it's not, because there's like high and low seasons of the performance and whatnot, and so like you'll have a week or so, or maybe even 2 or 3 weeks where like you're not seeing a bunch of results, but then the next week, you get a bunch of leads, and you didn't really change anything, and you just get a bunch of leads. So like that's kind of how October was we had let's see,
like 6 leads in a day.
We had something like 6 leads,
and then,
or probably not even in a day, in like a 12-hour time frame. And we didn't change anything, but like the previous 2 weeks before that, it was fewer leads than that. You know what I mean? So
and then of those 6, we booked 2.
Yeah. So like
in a single day, within 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And so the 2 Facebook ads that we got for this month were from that one day during the time where it was a ridiculous amount of leads. And also having consultation calls, of learning how to actually have those calls that help sell those. So like, sure, we got the 27,000, but if we didn't have the knowledge of what we've learned from Next Level, that probably would have only been 2 instead of 5 bookings. And instead of the 27, it was probably going to be like maybe $8,000 total. Total sales and whatnot. So
you mean because of the sales process and looking at that?
Exactly.
What do you think was
how to effectively do that? So
what do you like? Let's drill down on that a little bit. So like, what do you feel on that end like made a big difference for you?
It's kind of photo leads for sure. But I think it was probably more of the client process of how they got to us and talking with us, and how we communicated with them in the actual consultation calls. Because before Next Level, we probably would have just like, hey, what's up? We do photo and video. Here's our portfolio.
Here's our prices.
And here's our prices. Let us know if you're interested. We'll send you over a contract, kind of deal. And that's kind of about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Next Level, and what we've learned is asking appropriate questions, timing the correct questions. Finding more details about the actual couple and building more of a rapport with them.
Speaking emotion into the conversation versus
making it more not having transactional relationships. At least for our, you okay? Here you go. So not having a transactional kind of conversation, but like showing the actual excitement of being engaged in the process of finding vendors and finding your videographer and photographer and stuff like that. So,
helped you close more, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's probably one of the things I find is the least talked about is like this in our industry. There's a lot of talk around like getting inquiries and obviously the work itself. But the sales process is huge. And when you make a couple changes there, like we always see this, like we always see people book more, and because that's where the money changes hands, right? Ultimately is like on that, like when you do your sales process. So there's a lot of room for people to improve, but it's just so often like people just think it's only about getting leads. It's only about the inquiries. And like, while that's an important piece of it, it's about massaging leads into clients is a great way to think about it. Okay. So, all right. So that's incredible. Like you guys killed it. Now, like, what do you feel like is next for you guys at this point?
I think probably just spending more time honing in on the ads and investing more money into the ads because they're proving successful. So there's no reason why, having a 12-to-1 ratio basically of input and output, there's no reason as to why we wouldn't want to keep using what we've learned, to keep making more money and finding more couples. And it gives us room to be picky about the couples too. Like, we can target specific couples, whether if it's how we say our ad copy or even in the consultation process, like in the phone call with them, we can find out what they're kind of looking for. And if it's something that we're not excited about, we can point them in a different direction. Or, offer this other photographer or videographer that would be great for them, but it just wouldn't be for us. So, like, we're not, it's putting us in a position where we don't have to take anything that comes our way, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, because it makes you you'll book more because people can tell too that like, not in like an arrogant way, but you don't need them. And so they want to work with you more. And that comes from having a full pipeline. Like when you know that you're always going to have inquiries and you know how to generate those inquiries, then you're like, hey, if it's not a good fit, that's cool. Like we can get you pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I think you said something else too that is like good and I think could be useful for people, which is like, it's kind of this mindset shift where, if you're used to kind of like your business is mostly referral and, you're making like 6-7K a month and you have a good business, but now you're looking to scale and you're looking to do more. And so now you're investing a significant amount of money into ad spend. And there's like ebbs and flows to that. And it can, you're like, whoa, we're floating all this money out. And, is it working? Is it not? And it really is like a mindset shift where you go to like, okay, you guys spent $1,000 and you made $12,000, right?
Yeah.
So like when you have something, and I know we've spoken about this before, but like once you have something like that, you can get a 12-to-1 ROI, then that you just want to keep feeding more into this machine. Like now we want to see how can we get to a place where we can spend $2K a month, right? Because if we can, and it's gonna break at certain places, and then you fix it. But if you can spend $2K a month now and scale it up to the point where you're making $20K in bookings, that's what we want to do, you know?
Yeah. And that's assuming, like, we can't make the ads perform better. You know, like, it was just performing the way it has been now.
Right.
You know, hopefully we can keep figuring out how to target a little bit more specifically for what works really well. So maybe we don't necessarily have to spend, maybe it's still we spend $1,000, but we learn how to, you know, target specifically, or figure out what copy works best and performs best, and then we just use that.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I think understanding that things are always going to change. The environment, Facebook is always changing. There's more new advertisers coming in, but knowing how to write copy and understanding how funnels work, you can always do that stuff. Cool. Well, I think that's awesome. So, like, if let's say there's someone listening to this call right now, and they're a photographer or a videographer, and maybe their business is doing about, like, you know, 30, 40K a year, and they want to scale up, you know, they want to get to 200K, they want to start making 27K in a month like you guys, right? They're listening to this right now, and they're thinking, you know, I would love to do that. What would you say to that person that's maybe on the fence about joining us in Next Level right now?
I'd say it's not going to be as hard as you think it is. It's, again, like, if you have questions, you have a whole group of people that want to see you succeed and want to help, and we celebrate each other's successes, and we're there for each other in a lot of ways, and so there's a huge support system to kind of fall back on. So it's not as scary and alone and unknown as you think it is. Yeah, we had each other, but, like, even if it was just Kyle, even if it was just me, there's still everybody in the group to go to, and I don't know, whenever we've had questions and messaged you, you get back to us within, like, an hour.
No pressure.
No, what I'm saying is, like, you're very responsive too, and so it's not as unobtainable as it looks. Like, it was a lot of just following the program and following the script and just doing step by step what the thing says to do, and that's kind of how we got here. The leads did the work for us, or the ads did the work for us, and we just kind of followed a script from there, and here we are. So
if I were to tell you back in, like, September when we first talked, if I said to you, like, next month you're going to make 27K, would you have believed me?
Probably not.
Well, I mean, technically, you didn't say 27K. You just said, "What's your goal?" And we told you a goal, and you're like, "Yeah, that's easy. We're gonna make that happen." So, like, you didn't give an actual number, but you said that if we put in the work, we can totally get there. So
yeah, I mean, I had no doubt that it would be more successful than what we had been doing, but I just didn't know, like, how much more it would have been. Like,
I was just like, we just need to make the money back. That's all I want to see.
I mean, thinking about our past few months' numbers, I mean, it's kind of tripled what we've been bringing in, you know, July, August, September. And granted, COVID is kind of, I don't want to say winding down, but people are starting to, like, come out of the woodworks again and not be so afraid to start making plans about their wedding. So the numbers might be skewed. Like, we could have made more in July, but it was still.
And that's more to say because we do larger, like, mid to larger weddings. Because I think during COVID, if you're an elopement photographer, videographer, you're probably making more money because of COVID than anything. But I think it's just because
The traditional wedding.
Yeah, we do more of the larger size weddings. So
Nice. That's awesome. So last question for you guys. You've obviously seen like other members of Next Level. You've seen the challenges that people go through. What would your number one piece of advice be for other members of Next Level?
Use the groups, use the community, use the resources we have. Like I know we have been, ask questions and figure it out together. And I think what I'm excited about, and I don't think I've seen a whole lot of, I don't feel there's a big competition within the group. So I like the fact that we're, we celebrate successes with each other, and your success is my success, and just to keep that going. Like when you see somebody making X amount a year, they brought in this amount, like, don't get jealous, let that inspire you. Don't become bitter, let that be your new fence post,
Mm-hmm. I think that's great advice. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something that I notice amongst all people who like win in life is that like they don't look at something that somebody else is doing and like get jealous or resentful or tell themselves that like, oh, it must be nice, or I can't do that, or something like that. Create a story why they can't, like basically turn themselves into a victim, and it's such a natural instinct, like it's such a natural human thing that we have to resist. But I see this so much. It's like if you look at that and you go, wow, like that person's doing it, I can do that. It just feeds you. And then that creates even more positive feedback where now other people are seeing that and then they do it and then you go even higher and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of use each other as jumping points versus...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Versus weights that kind of tear us down.
That's awesome. Kyle, anything you would add?
I'd probably say, as hypocritical as I am to myself right now, I would just say stay consistent and like keep at it, even if like finding the time can be difficult to keep figuring out how to adjust certain either ads or an angle that you're trying to push for. Just keep trying stuff because I don't know, if you keep trying different things, you'll have a higher success rate. But if you just stay the same and consistent, or you stay where you're at and you're not trying new things, then of course it's probably gonna get stagnant at some point, and it's gonna be difficult to find more work or find more leads.
Yeah.
So just keep trying new things and being willing to keep reinvesting into yourself and your business.
I think that's great advice. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much for hopping on. Like I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people listening at home. And if somebody's listening to this and they're like in the Southern California area or really anywhere and they're looking for an amazing husband-wife photo video team, where's the best way for people to get in touch with you guys?
shoreandwave.com or on Instagram, because we are always on Instagram. So at Shore and Wave.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, I just want to thank you guys again. It was awesome. And it's been a pleasure watching you guys and working with you guys over the last couple months and seeing your results. I know we're just going to keep doing this and keep growing this thing together. This is just the beginning. And I'm excited to watch Kai continue to grow as well.
He'll be our second shooter sooner or later.
You can outsource your editing.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, you guys are so welcome. It's my pleasure. And we'll speak soon.
All right. Talk to you later, Peter.
Bye-bye. Oh.